Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. You guys, we have like 10 or 12 subjects to cover today. There's so much going on. It's absolutely insane. So buckle up and hold on. Let's jump in with both feet. Let's go. We're starting off this morning with Princess Anne. She went on a tour of Pershore College where she spoke with staff and students and employers and local dignitaries. She was very interested in the technology and research being carried out in the Agri-Tech Research Center. She also unveiled a plaque. Very nice. Next up, we're going to talk about Prince Andrew. Apparently, he's been spending $32,000 a year on an Indian healing guru. This has been going on for years. The Queen has readily just written a check and handed it over to Andrew. But now he's trying to hand the bill to Charles, and Charles is telling him, pay for it yourself. Now, it's being reported that Andrew is complaining that the Queen didn't leave him any money when she passed away, that all the money went to Charles. I have to be honest, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Charles got $650 million and she left nothing to her other children. I'm not sure how that's working, but I find that very hard to believe. Also talking about Andrew, you should know that, believe it or not, he has not given up his bid to come back to royal life, and they're talking about him doing yet another interview. Yeah, because the first one went so well for him. Big mistake, Andrew. Moving on. Next up, King Charles received Dr. Mohammed Al-Isa, I hope I'm saying that correctly, who is the Secretary General of the Muslim World League. Yes, Finn, we hear you. During an audience at Buckingham Palace on March 10th. Also with Charles, very interesting, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police gifted Charles a black mare called Noble at Windsor. What a beautiful horse. I love it. Next up, the Duke of Edinburgh went and visited the prop store in Hertfordshire and had the chance to look at items used in major movies. How cool is that? And in talking about Edward, I just want to mention his son again, James. He's 15. He is now the new Earl of Wessex. Apparently, Lady Louise had the chance to choose a royal title, and at this time she has refused. She wants a normal life. Good for her. Moving on. Here we go. Moving on to Harry and Meghan. Word out is that Archie and Lily were not invited to the coronation. The invitation was only for Harry and Meghan. I find that interesting. Apparently the invitation didn't mention them. And I can totally understand. They're too young to understand what's going on. They're too young to participate in anything that's going on. It's just, I totally get it. Why would you bring them? Now, the next bit of information that came out said that Diana's sisters, not the brother, but the sisters, did fly over to Montecito for the christening of the daughter. I got to be honest, I don't believe that for 1 second. Those girls do not approve of Harry's behavior any more than anybody else did. And everybody's like, oh, well, he wanted to support Harry. Right, but they have another nephew, and that's William, and that Harry's been crapping on. I don't believe until you show me proof they were there, I don't believe it. And I'm going to need more proof than just a picture that's probably photoshopped, because I just don't believe that the two of them would crap on William. They're monarchists to back Harry. I'm sorry, I don't see it. And I believe with what Karen Cartwright wrote, can you just see the Spencer family leaving the UK and flying without anybody knowing about it to Montecito to be with Tyler Perry at a baptism? Yeah, no. Now, you guys should know that there is no HRH with those titles. And for those of you who know how this works, then you know that without the HRH, they might as well have changed the birth certificate to make Lily's first name Princess, because it's worth absolutely nothing. And that makes Harry and Meghan absolutely furious. because they're entitled to use prince and princess, but not the HRH, which is really the most important line in royal protocol. And that makes them really mad because they want security. Because that's really what this is all about, helping their IPP status. Now, of course, Harry and Meghan have been branded hypocrites for taking those titles because, after all, Meghan sat on the Oprah show and said that those titles just bring pain. Now, let's go back to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry named a godfather, but Tyler Perry, who only was willing to do that if there was no christening in the UK, he didn't want anything to do with the royal family, and that's the only reason that everything was done the way it was done. Now you have to wonder why Harry and Meghan are so beholden to him. Well, he's letting them use his private jet whenever he wants. He's letting them stay in his beautiful, gorgeous mansions all over the world. And rumor is he's going to give her a job in one of his productions, giving her the limelight that she always wanted. Now, Sir Blakeney wrote something about the titles, and I'm not going to read all this, but you can freeze it and read it for yourself. But basically, it points out that, Frogmore's gone, their Commonwealth role is gone, they're openly being ignored by the family. He didn't acknowledge them at the funeral, and he talks about the titles and how he feels about it. I really recommend you freeze the screen and read what he wrote because it's very illuminating, all right? Okay, moving on. Now, the next issue that comes up is that King Charles has been talking for years about doing a slimmed down monarchy. If you're going to do a slimmed down monarchy, why are you allowing titles for children that have, Lily wasn't even born in the UK. She's a US citizen. I'm like, yeah. And apparently he's not slimming down any of the properties either. There's a lot of crown property. It blew the whole thing out. And of course, people are upset in the United States because we fought a war to get away from the royals. We don't want royals here. If I were to see them, I would not acknowledge the fact that they're royals because we fought a war against that. Now, you should know, it's in the news, that Meghan is now trying to negotiate terms for her and Harry to go to the coronation. Some of the terms that they're trying to negotiate, and even Neil Sean was talking about this, is number one, they want to be on the balcony with the working royals, which I think should be an absolute no. And if you can believe this, they want the king on his coronation day to acknowledge Archie's 4th birthday. No, I kid you not. Considering the fact that on Archie's 3rd birthday, Harry spent the whole day out playing polo, I'm not sure why his 4th birthday is such a big deal to them. And as I said, not only does Meghan want HRH for the kids because the titles are useless, she now wants the title of princess herself so she can be on the same level as Princess Catherine, per Neil Sean. So, of course, the stories are coming out that this is going to turn the coronation into a soap opera if Charles isn't careful with the shenanigans that they pull. They're always trying to steal the attention. They're always trying to one-up the royals. Let me just give you a few examples through the years of this kind of behavior. Prince Charles was on a tour in 2016 in Omar, and the tour was completely overshadowed because right then was when Harry decided to put out a statement about his then girlfriend, warning the press to leave her alone. You have Princess Eugenie's wedding to Jack when Meghan decided that would be a good time to tell everybody she was pregnant and take over all the attention from the bride. You have the time that Camilla was launching the Women of the World Festival, and she was giving a very important speech on domestic violence. And it was at this time that Harry and Meghan released the pictures of Meghan at the National Theater to overshadow what Camilla was doing. You have the time that William and Catherine were in Pakistan on a very important tour. And it was during the tour that Harry and Meghan decided to release an interview done while they were on their African tour weeks earlier to coincide with the Pakistan tour, where they talked about how unhappy they were. Harry and Meghan decided to announce Megxit around the time of Catherine's birthday. Harry and Meghan did the Oprah interview, and they made sure that it was broadcast to coincide with the Queen's Commonwealth address. Catherine and William were going around for Mental Health Awareness Week, and that same week was when Harry decided to appear on the Dax Shepard podcast and talk about his pain. Harry did the James Corden bus interview and made sure that it aired at the same time as the Queen giving a speech about the importance of vaccines. The day that William and Catherine touched down in the United States, Meghan decides to release a picture of Archie's face taken from a phone call. Then, during the ensuing 3 days while William and Catherine are touring, they decided that would be a good time to drop the trailer for the Netflix docuseries, the first one. Now, William and Catherine continued on with their tour, and then the next thing you know, Harry and Meghan are dropping the Invictus Games promo. It just continued. It was on Princess Eugenie's birthday that Harry announced that he was going to work for Better Up. Catherine announced when her book was coming out, so it was inevitable that Meghan made sure her book came out 3 days earlier, approximately. On the night of the Queen's 96th birthday, Harry gave an interview to Hoda where he said some very interesting things. On the day that they put up the picture of the Queen ahead of her annual Christmas speech, this is the day that Harry and Meghan decided to release a Christmas card that showed the faces of their kids for the first time. The day before Catherine's birthday was when Harry decided to sit down and do an interview for The Spare. On October 11th, as the official mourning period for the Queen came to an end, the royal family put out a picture of the new king and queen consort along with the heir apparent and his wife. Harry and Meghan then decided that they were going to release pictures from whatever the hell it was that they were doing while they were in the UK. And I think we all know that Lilibet's title was a revenge for being evicted from Frogmore. So, I get really upset when people go, well, couldn't Charles have picked a different birthday than Archie's? Well, why should he? Harry and Meghan have crapped all over the whole royal family on their birthdays. You guys know that I work 24 hours behind. I'm willing to bet that when the Commonwealth Service goes on, Harry and Meghan will probably be releasing pictures of the christening. How much money you want to bet? Now, you have to know that Harry is trying to reinvent Meghan to make her look like Mother Teresa, and they're trying to get the United States to like them. It has not worked before. It's not going to work now. People have had enough of them. I really feel like they'd be better off starting over somewhere else. Now, going about the coronation, people are telling Harry and Meghan that if they go to this coronation, there's going to be a lot of threats because the UK hates them. They told everybody in the UK that they were racist. They said horrible things about the royal family. The public embraced Meghan and she basically spit on them in a manner of speaking. So people there really don't want to see either one of them. Now, I agree with Empress of Gin and Coffee. She said she had a vision of them getting out of their car and hundreds of people yelling, "We want our privacy and stop looking at us," waving the signs at them while they were booing. Personally, I would find that absolutely hilarious if that truly happened. That's a thought. And now it looks like, thanks to Chris Rock, thanks to South Park, thanks to Jimmy Kimmel, thanks to SNL, they have become the butt of every joke in Hollywood. Anybody and everybody that could take a swipe of them is now doing so. And they have nobody to blame for this but themselves. Not only are they not with the in crowd in Hollywood, they have become the party joke. Like everything that they do has been criticized, mocked at, because everything they do has become, I don't know the right word. They're a joke. Nobody takes them seriously anymore. And this whole title row just made it even worse. Now people are really laughing at them. I completely agree with this article. If Edward and Sophie had been able to give help to Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan refused their help. Had they been able to, though, I think things might have gone better for Meghan, but she thought she knew better, and she didn't like being in anybody's shadow. All right, let's cover a few more things. First of all, they're talking about Meghan's shoes and how you can get them for $33, okay? The thing is, she's wearing shoes that we saw several years ago. This picture was taken in front of her house. It wasn't really a pap walk, but there are the shoes. Now, this just goes along with the whole they need money thing because she never rewears anything. Here she is with her Chanel bag, right? Here's a little bit close up. Well, come to find out, this bag is 3 years old. It's from 2019, actually technically 4 years old. I think they're running out of money. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is this picture of Harry that just popped up. Apparently, he's going blonde, it looks like. His pupils look blown. His face looks very puffy. I don't know what's going on with him in this picture. He looks not good. But what I really want you to pay attention to is the hairline. Remember, we had heard stories that he had hair plugs put in, okay? Looks here like he's got a full head of hair. But of course, we all know from previous that is not what he actually has. He is pretty much as bald as William is. The only difference is he has a few sparse hairs left on top. And instead of just shaving them off and, going, look, this is my hairline, he's gotten hair plugs. We wouldn't notice. Next up, we heard that Meghan's going to bring the TIG back. Personally, I think she should be careful because unless she removes all the things in the TIG that she wrote previously, everybody's going to know what a wonderful father she had. Because she had written wonderful things about him in the TIG before she met Harry. Interesting. All right, next up, I want to look at this picture of Harry. I believe this is some sort of a meeting. It might have been at the Better Up. Now, he's supposed to be inspiring these people, and I want you to look around the room at their body language. Like, seriously, these people look so uninterested and so disengaged. I think he's in the wrong profession. All right, the last story I want to talk about, this could affect Harry and Meghan big time. The Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. People were lined up. This reminds me of the Great Depression. People were lined up outside the bank trying to get some of their money. Anything, you know how the FDIC insures these accounts, but usually I think it's for $100,000 or $200,000. Anything over that, you're not going to get back. Like when my mother died, she never had more than $100,000 in any of her accounts. We had to go around to all these different banks and gather the money up because she was raised in the Depression era. You know what I'm saying? You guys know what I'm talking about. So this bank has collapsed. Now, you have to understand that the regulators came in, they seized the bank, they seized the assets. And remember, Harry and Meghan went in with that ethical banking. And so all of these startups, the ethical banking, the coffee cup, all of these places are going to go under because all of their money was in the Silicon Valley Bank. Now, rumor is that the CEO was with another bank before it collapsed. They apparently gave out bonuses before it collapsed. But here's the big thing. This is where Better Up banks. Yes, Better Up, where Harry is a chimpo. Word is that Oprah banks there. She could have lost a lot of money in the collapse. Nobody's 100% for sure. And it looks like Harry and Meghan, if they invested there, could lose even more money. Crazy. And finally, I want to thank the Royal Rundown on Twitter for these pictures. I think it's very telling. I really do. Oh my goodness. Finally, I want to end with this. This is a blind item that I put up for you guys back in 2019, where it points out that Meghan had hired a company that goes after people on social media who criticize their clients using bot farms. Bet you guys can guess who that is. So what do you guys think about the fact that Harry and Meghan are always trying to steal the thunder from all the people in the royal family, but the second they do something on Archie's birthday, they cry foul? What do you guys think about Meghan demanding that the kids get HRH? Do you guys really believe that the Spencers went to the christening? I want those comments. Make them good and leave them below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell. If you've already hit it, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go up into the description box and you'll find links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, and of course a physical address in case there's something you want to mail. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund and through my thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.